stand by me only if I'm right. I come out in triple darkness just to see the light. If I say it once, I guarantee I say it twice. If they love me, I ain't going out without a fight. I'm gonna explain it to you, but then the journey's over. The person you saw me do this to, where was somebody up the street about to rob them? So the fact that I did that prevented them from being slaughtered or whatever. And this other situation, all of them were situations where, because of your lack of understanding or knowledge, something that appeared to you as wrong or unethical was actually saving grace down the road if you would have just been a little patient. And so that was the whole lesson. It was, and for us, it's two lessons. One is on the side of being the wise man, which we all think we are, as the fathers, right? We have to understand that man understood he didn't have patience with him before he even went.
Right.
You're not gonna get it. But come on, you know what I'm saying? And so, but we're too much. What I said was, oh, I got to, he didn't say, I got to find a way for you to get it. Okay, so you can go. I got to find a way for you to get it. He said, you know what, you come on. And even when he did it, the man beseeched, okay. He never taught him along the way while you were in error and your impatience. He just let it happen. And then from the story of the young person, the wise man told you, there's some stuff coming up. It's going to be, you know, and he got insecure about not knowing enough. So he didn't trust the wise man. You know what I'm saying? And so that patience thing, though, is cool. Because we usually, when we let stuff just marinate, it usually is much better even when we cooking.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I have a funny story. I probably told us about scalping tickets when the dude was selling tickets. So, okay, maybe you heard it, maybe you haven't, but here's what happened.
Has the audience heard it? Did you share it with them?
I don't know. But so here's what happened. This dude, it's the USC Virginia football game, and the scalper is selling tickets. And he's selling tickets for $75 a piece to 4 students. They look like they just came straight out the frat house, and they want a ticket to go sit on the hill, and he gonna sell it to them for $75. This man walks up to him, and he's got his family. He holding a kid, he got his wife, and his wife is holding a kid. And the family is like, hey man, we'll pay you $150 a piece for those tickets. And the scalper's like, nah man, nah, I'm gonna sell them to these dudes. He's like, dude, I got my family, there's no more tickets out here, please sell them to me. And the dude is like, man, listen, get out of here. I'm gonna sell them to these dudes for $75 a piece. And he's like, dude, the game is about to start. I've got my family with me. Will you please sell me these tickets? And the scalper turned around and said, look, man, get the F away from me. I'm not selling you these tickets. Get out of my face. And the dude walked off like, oh my gosh, I'm giving him double the money. Why is he not taking the money?
Right.
Scalper sells the tickets to the drunk college students. They go off. I wanted to go tell the guy, hey, those tickets that guy was selling were fake. And somebody had sold him fake tickets, and he was trying to get his money back, and he know them dudes drunk, they don't see the game anyway. He didn't want to do that to you and your family.
Right.
He just spared you, and you have no idea what he spared you from.
Wow.
He just spared you,
I
and
never
you have
heard
no
that.
idea.
Yeah, you never heard
and so the dude is so frustrated, and I wanted to go tell him, like, yo, bro, my man saved you. You know what I mean? But I ain't say nothing. You know what I mean? Dude, somebody had sold the scalper fake tickets.
Right.
And so he was like, man, I got to get my money back. He's like, I'm going to do it to these dudes. They drunk. They going to pass out on the hill.
So what's the lesson?
The lesson is sometimes you being saved from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you being saved from yourself. And you may walk away never understanding that you were just saved.
Yeah, and I thought you was about to say when you was telling the story was.
So is that for real quick? Is that for both parties? Should both parties walk away when we say we agree to disagree, understanding that I might have been saved from myself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would that bring peace?
It ain't no different than we was in traffic yesterday.
Yeah, maybe I got it.
When we was in traffic yesterday and it was backed up, and John said, "Hey, be thankful that ain't us up there." You know what I mean?
I
Because
do
the
that a
accident
lot.
is up ahead.
Yeah.
And we all had those moments
And just sit
where
with
we
it.
like, just
because
sit,
we had to
just
sit
sit
in
right
traffic.
here
Yeah.
and be patient.
Instead of give off in the exit in this block too.
We in the truck. Let's get down on the shoulder.
Going down the shoulder of the
Did you lose your
road.
point?
Nah, probably did.
Okay, my bad. My bad. No, it was me.
Nah.
I
Oh no, I was gonna say something along the lines was when he was talking to the drunk car. I thought you was gonna say this when he was talking to the guy. I was like, hey, get out of here. And he was standing on principle, like I already gave him my word that I was gonna sell it to him.
Yeah, that too. That's
I
another
wasn't-
side
That's
of
what
it.
you
I was.
Well,
Yeah, I did
that's,
too.
That's
I did
what
too.
he kind of tried to sell to the dude.
The
that he
right,
was
the
telling
with
get
the
away.
fence. Right,
he
right.
tried to tell him that at first when it was like,
He
man,
couldn't
get away.
out his criminal
I already-
behavior.
Yeah,
Right.
man, go ahead. I already kind of committed to these
Right.
dudes. You know what I mean? He did try to sell, but the dude was so persistent. Then he had to get nasty with him.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and so that's what happened.
Nah, that's
I'll
an
never
excellent
forget that
story.
day,
Well,
man.
that's
I'll never
wild.
forget that
and,
day.
And I guess I just got a question too, because sometimes we want our young men and ladies to be independent thinkers, right? Independent, analytical thinkers. And then when they practice it, we don't like it. You know?
Sometimes.
Yeah. And so we got to be like, okay, this is what I was hoping there would be, even if. But again, that's why when you have that adult relationship, we can have these debates.
Boy, when I look at my young son, sometimes I tell him I taught you way too much.
Watch, do you feel the same?
Way too
I
much.
feel the exact same
Way
way.
too much too early,
I
man.
feel the exact same way.
I said, I told him this last week.
It's coming back at you.
Oh my God! I'm sitting here thinking about a couple of conversations that I had with our editor, Amir.
You name dropping?
Hey, man.
Again?
I do it less than anybody on the podcast, bro. But
Shout out to our
Amir got
editor,
jokes.
Amir.
Shout out to Amir got jokes.
Shout out.
I love my conversation with my sons, man. And sometimes we get in these passionate conversations and we have these philosophical differences. You know, he's a more liberal thinker than I am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in some ways, and he knows my belief system to the core, and I know his belief system, and I know where our belief systems are so connected. But there are a couple of things where we don't, that liberal part of his belief system clashes with part of the core of my belief system, right?
Right.
And so in those moments, I can't talk about how I deal with it. Only thing I can do is acknowledge what it feels like. And what it feels like is, man, I really wish he could see this. You know, I love him so much. Like you said, I want him to see it.
But sometimes
Right?
time gonna teach you.
It is. I'm gonna get
Right.
there.
Okay.
So I want him to see it, and then I say, you know what? That man got his own belief system, and of course you know that, right? And I just leave it in that space where I'm like, I wish he could see it, but there's an acknowledgement that he on his own journey.
Right.
And the only thing is, and I say to myself, it's not that nothing wrong right now. And ultimately on some of the stuff, I go back and think about because like maybe you are a little too conservative on this viewpoint. And then sometimes it's just not. I just know 1,000 years from now, I'm going to disagree with it. But we leave it in that space, right? And it doesn't impact the relationship except in those spaces, we fear for people that if we think we're right and we are right, we fear that they're not knowing that could one day impact
harm
them in some type of way. You know what I'm saying? But to your point, everything is about that. I think it is. That's the whole point is you just got to wait and let it happen because.
But there's something to be said for any fool can learn from his own mistake. It takes a wise man to learn from other people's mistakes. So there's something to be said for that. And so the reason I'm impatient and don't want to give them that time because you being a fool. I'm going to have to let you learn this on your own. Am I really gonna have to do that? When you could just learn and trust what I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I don't have no patience for that.
Hey,
But
man,
see, the
yeah.
patience.
But I have to.
Yeah, we
I
have to, because
I
what
have to.
happens is, I know you were just speaking out, you
Yeah,
explained it
yeah.
out, but the whole thing is, you know why? Because the patience is, you know what it is? It's the impatience is the truth without compassion.
Very true.
Okay.
Very true. Yeah.
I think sometimes
Even when we don't say nothing.
I'm over here thinking sometimes what happens is sometimes they have to learn the journey on their own so they can respect the journey. And it's gonna be the aha moment, which is
Going
really
through the
going,
journey.
yes, because right now I can't see what you're telling me, but the minute you hit it, you're like, oh man, dang, Dad was right. Now I really got a clear understanding what Dad meant, and I got it now. And eventually you gonna have those moments.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
talking about faith, right?
not even really faith.
Because you can't see it.
Well, yeah,
There has to be some
yeah.
sort of faith.
Well, you know, well, one would say faith and one would say, man, it's just facts, right? Because I already know I've been there, but absolutely what you're saying, faith. But the other thing, man, I mean, in our spiritual walk, you know, God always said, my ways is not your ways. And so a lot of times your thoughts and what you thinking may not line up with his thoughts and what you thinking. But eventually you'll get revelation of what that's going.
It normally doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Normally,
yeah. Right.
I think Jay-Z said
it's
it on
too
the
deep.
Kevin Hart
Yeah.
interview. He said, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
I know just what you're saying because I was going to bring that up with regards to having a the foundation of principles that you move on and values in the value system that you have as a family or established as a family. And when you brought that up, it made me think that, okay, so if you've been operating from those principles and those values, and then our sons or whatever, our children, get to a point that they then seem like they kind of abandon that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's a tough thing as well. You know, it's just,
It is.
with this parenting piece, bro, that is just, those are the tough situations. Because like what JG mentioned earlier, when they want to go their own path and this, that, and the third, and kind of ignore what you've been saying, and you just kind of have to let them go through it.
Man,
wanna
the
point out,
irony
yeah.
of how God completes a picture based on how you thought it was going to play out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A few things. hey, just to make it clear, we all want our children to blaze their own trail.
Yeah.
Using that analogy, we all want them to blaze their own trail. And the other thing is, we want them to be better than us.
Let me
Gosh,
ask you a
man.
question. Do you feel sorry for when you not with your son, do you feel sorry for the people on the other side of that?
No, I don't. You know why I don't? Because it's one of those things where people tell you
Go
your
get 'em.
children are way better than you think they are. You know what I'm saying? When you go out, they be like, your child is an angel. You be like, what?
Yeah, that's what they
So now I know how he conduct himself. I'm talking about in that space where I get to see the rawness of who he is.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He definitely
Yeah, when I see the rawness of who he is, I be like, I taught him too much because that dynamic of when he think he need to go independent thinking, I moved it up. So he ain't listening to me much earlier
Oh, yeah, that's
than
right.
he may have if I had let it grow. You know what I'm saying? So he already on some. Oh, we on disagree on a lot.
Yeah.
Already. So, can challenge, you know what I say, even with Joaquin and Darius, if we being self-reflective as fathers, when I see that, I'm like, okay, you know, what was your hand in that?
Oh,
Darius, yeah.
absolutely.
If he was in a position where that's how he interpreted your telling him to advocate for himself and get people to move, then I missed something.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
absolutely.
Because this other part that I care about didn't come along with your thinking about this. The thing too, I said, this is a part of it too is, and this is not in this case because this is not Tracy, but the other part is I just tell John, and generally sometimes ask him, I tell him, man, you got to remember 50% of that DNA not yours. So you sitting there saying, why my son don't think just like me?
Yeah.
In every situation, every format, every this. He is me. We a male. I went through this. No, he got 50% chromosomes that got other thought patterns and inclinations that he's a composite of. So he just might disagree with you.
Yeah.
In the same way, that person we talking about disagrees with you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times, and back to Amir, I tell boy, sometimes, boy, I see you just like your mama. No, I'm just saying, I see her in him.
Yeah.
Right.
So you see what I'm saying? So it's like you got to remember that half of his ideas and opinions come from a different side of intellect.
Yeah.
Not less into
Not
different.
deficient.
Right. Yeah.
Just different.
Right.
Yeah.
Just different.
Yeah.
And,
Take
and
that
so
to
really,
account. Take that to account.
and so really, ultimately, what this conversation truly is about is our growth as parents for us as we try to teach these lessons.
Yeah.
Because they pushing us into some spaces that we need help in.
Right. That's
like,
right.
Like the patience.
Yeah.
Like the ability to not control all their narratives. The ability to let them take some roads that, is really about us. And the schedule, ain't nobody gonna want to play us.
Right.
Do you understand that?
So it's
Like,
the
the
short-sighted versus the long game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there are more people you have to consider the higher up you go in this process. And the lower you are, the more narrow your frame of reference is that you have to consider. At the bottom, all you're thinking about is you.
So in those moments when we dealing with people that we love, right? And we're in a agree to disagree place, regardless of what it is, you're saying that after we have used what method to ensure that the position that we're taking is received properly, you had it was a three message, the 3 F's, I think it was. Can you explain that? So what does that mean?
Yeah, when I always talk about delivering truth without compassion is cruelty. The truth is never inappropriate, but the truth without compassion is cruelty. And one way to deliver a truth with a level of compassion is a technique that I like to use called feel, felt, found. So when you're saying something to somebody, you say, I totally understand exactly how you feel. I have felt exactly like that before, but here's what I have found. And then you give them the truth. And that's how you can deliver a message of truth
Kill 'em
with
soft.
compassion. Yeah, a level of
Why
truth
you
with
describe it
compassion.
as killing
Killing
them?
her. That's the competitive. That's
Yeah,
the competitive
it is.
nature
But
when
the thing that I would, and the thing that we talked about was when you get to that place of we can agree to disagree. I really want to understand what that means because
I hate it.
I know what it means on face value, of course, but literally when you say we can agree to disagree, the time when I really understand what it means is when it's a heated conversation and you just need to stop it.
Correct.
Or pause it. As you
But
always
if
say.
it's an important issue involving someone you love, some things you can agree to disagree and move on.
we don't say that we putting this on pause. We're going to agree to disagree. I guess what's unspoken is right now.
Right.
Because we're going to have to chew on something. I have to chew on something. Maybe it's a perspective that I'm not receiving right now. Maybe it's a perspective you're not seeing. I think that's what happens, but it goes unsaid. We just say agree to disagree. But in reality, I think that's how it should move. At this point, we at an impasse, right? And whatever we agreeing or disagreeing about, it's got to be feelings and emotions. Because we should be agreeing on facts, right?
Because the reason we got to agree to disagree because there's a fundamental principle that we disagree on.
Okay, but are we disagreeing on facts or emotions or
See,
feelings.
see, that's why, you know
it's
why.
different than a fact. You know, let me just say
okay, so we
this.
disagree on
Okay.
Let me say this.
What's the difference?
There's a difference between what is true and what is truth. Truth, yeah, truth does not change. 2 + 2 is 4. That is truth. All right. We are here in this studio. That is true. But 6 hours from now, that is not going to be true. So true can change. Truth does not. So when we are talking about agreeing to disagree, it's because we have a fundamental principle that I operate under and you operate under, and we are not coming together on that.
No, I just wanted to say this because it reminded me when on another episode I said that parenting is that of like if we consider it as being God's or from the vantage point of God. I think what would lessen our frustration or what would help us is if we go to the scriptures and see how it was handled by him. How did he deal with it? How did God deal with it? And if you look at, you know, well, at least of the New Testament, that's a father-son relationship. Jesus, God. You know what I mean? Abraham, Ishmael, as far as in the Old Testament, which was kind of a bit of a prerequisite to that of the New Testament because it was about sacrifice, right? Abraham had to sacrifice his son. God, according to the New Testament, gave his only begotten son. You know what I mean? Or he so loved the
He
world.
willing to give it up.
He was willing to give or sacrifice his son, as it's looked at in that way. So I was just thinking, why'd you do that?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt your good point.
Right, but I think what would help us lessen the frustration is if we go to the Word,
Absolutely.
whether it be, you know,
Let it be the final.
Bible, Quran, whatever scripture that deals, especially when it comes to principle, because that's where it's going to be. That's where it's going to be.
The word or whatever body of knowledge you all agree is going to govern your justice
values and justice.
is the arbitrator.
Yes.
Because you got your opinion, I got mine. Then there's the word is the standard.
Man,
But
we gotta
that's-
interpret
that's-
the word.
So it
And
removes.
that's why I think it's so critical to establish that though as a foundation of how you govern your household and your family.
But at the same time, if y'all don't have the same belief system, as far as, you know, let's just use Muslim and Christian, then that you still gonna have those
Let's
same-
just make it. Suppose you got a kid that don't believe in God at all. Let's just use that.
Yeah, they're not gonna see it.
But see, the whole
You
thing
can have
is,
a
though,
reference
because-
point.
But see, I like the Muslim Christian one. I like that because both people are declaring themselves to believe in a body of knowledge that espouses universal principles.
Then we should
When
be
you
able
strip
to
away,
agree.
when you strip away whether you get baptized or I take shahada, when you strip away whether you do communion or I pray 5 times, when you strip all of that away and the principles is just there, it ain't no difference in them.
Then we shouldn't be having no
We
problem.
should
But we
be
got a
able
problem.
to. We're right
But he
because we saying what we believe, but maybe we ain't living what we say we believe.
Well,
Do you
even,
see-
even
it's
if you're a
about the action.
non-believer, it's still universal laws. that's
And you
gonna
got a
be
belief
there.
system on something, right? Yeah.
You ain't even got to have a belief system by universal law. It don't matter. It don't mean that it's not gonna happen to you.
That's a fact.
You know, it don't mean that. Back to the truth, right? Right. It don't mean that it's not gonna stick. I already
Truth is the
told
truth. It apply
Yeah.
to you whether you want to accept it or not.
That's right.
And
yeah.
what I would have asked you when you said that, I was like, oh, how does it get to that point? Though, if you tried to rear it,
Because they got somebody else in their ear.
Oh, of course.
That's how I get to that point.
However, when at least with K-Moo, I didn't even press him on like to take on a label, if you will. You know what I mean? Whether
Similar,
Christian or Muslim. Again, I tried to just live by example. Let him see how, you know, operating that way. And when he was really young, I even used what he gravitated towards with heroes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be talking.
Like, yeah, like would you look, son? When I tried to give him, with regards to God and the devil and that sort of thing. Well, do you want to be a hero or you want to be a villain? You know what I mean? And so
Took it to his world.
I like to be a hero. You know what I mean? He want to be the villain. I said, okay, well, there are certain things you need to do in order to qualify and be that hero, and if that's what you're trying to do. And so I kind of operated on that point as opposed to just that, that of.
So does your responsibility to those loved ones shift if a belief system is embraced contrary to your own that you think is injurious to your relationship with them?
You say what now?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know
What
exactly what you're saying.
So what I'm getting at is like it was part of what you were saying earlier. I was like, Darius hurt you
Yeah.
in that business relationship, and I can't let you. I get it, and I love you, but I can't let you keep hurting me. So, but it's incumbent upon us at that point then to step outside of the situation, and now you're not in it. How do I focus on the relationship side only? I don't know, because that's what I'm saying. Like, so, do you just move on with like, man, we just had this deep impasse that was just stated.
As of right now, it's a deep
Yeah.
impasse because he think I should handle it one way and I don't.
And he just standing on that now.
He's standing on that. He's standing on business.
I think
and I'm like, I don't believe that's how you should operate in this situation.
When this opportunity comes up again in the business sense,
And it will.
are you gonna work together, or are you just gonna like, hey, you just handle it on your own because you don't need me in this situation, or
That's
how
why I
would
was
you
getting
move
at to do the responsibility change.
But
No, it don't change. I'm
Yeah.
still going.
Be there for him,
Yeah, I'm still gonna try to.
you gonna be there for him as a
But
father?
you decided to protect yourself though. From
yeah,
being
yeah,
in,
yeah,
you see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You decided you made some boundaries. I guess that's the
we had this talk off camera though, the conversation we had.
Oh yeah, they don't know what we talking about.
Right.
We talking about me and Darius.
Correct. Right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We was talking about
But
it.
it's a quick, simple impact, a disagreement. Yeah, it's like over
the details.
a concept.
Yeah, the details.
Yeah.
are
I got you.
And what probably bothered you most is that he was trying to get you to be outside of your character.
Absolutely.
And that's definitely gonna bother. You know what I'm saying? If that's
Well,
what you,
can we
if
say it
that's-
differently?
if that's
urgency
what
that he
you
Can we
said,
say it
if
differently?
That's what you
Say
said.
it.
He wasn't trying to get him to do that. He didn't recognize that that's what he was asking him to do.
That's real good.
But I
That's-
think
You
it's
see
a
what
little
I'm
bit of
saying?
both. I think it's a little bit of both.
From
could-
his perspective is you. From my perspective is what.
That's
he
what I'm
said.
saying.
Correct.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
exactly.
Absolutely.
There's one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
And
this
sometimes-
brother to go
and
turn up on him.
sometimes-
Like,
Dad to
But-
realize I'm better at him than this in this particular area.
But
He needs to be pushed here, and I'm gonna push him.
And
That's
that's
what
what
he want me to do. So now I'm gonna push him because that's what he taught me to do. Now he's uncomfortable because I'm putting him in a space that he's not used to.
Oh, that's
Because
what
he's been operating this way for umpteen years.
That's how you feel Darius is coming
Yeah.
in?
No, and you know what?
Yeah.
You're exactly right, and that's exactly what he said. Because we had another conversation later about money. We had this other conversation in terms of doing real estate deals, and I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. And Darius was like, see, Dad, that's why we not richer than what we are now. This is exactly what he said. This is why we don't have no more money, because you all on that. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And I'm like, man, I live by a set of principles and ethics that I'm just not gonna do certain things. You know what I mean? Even if it's legal to do, for me personally, God and Jesus' relationship was, or whoever, God and his son. Let's look at that relationship. And that should help us govern how
But
we interact.
but that whole God parenting thing, James was on in one episode. I think it was the father one, right? Look at how God parents us when it comes to when we in a agree to disagree situation. It ain't no agree to disagree, but God has a position, right? And we bump up against it. And he don't. Sometimes he chastises a little, but for the most part, he let us experience some stuff. We go through some stuff, we get up, we fall. But he never puts the death nail on us. Sometimes people die. You understand what I mean?
Yeah,
But he
yeah.
don't right away, you done. You messed that up, it's over. There's a lot of mercy and forgiveness all through
Absolutely.
his interaction with us, up into the process where we evolve into what he wants us to be. And he's always willing to chastise us, but also willing to have that patience. The bottom line, we talk about patience. Who more patient than God?
Right.
on.
Oh my God.
Come on.
That's all I wanted to say.
And again, man, it's I keep going
Right.
back.
With the ones he loved
Right.
and created and want the best for and care about and know more about how to live right and all of that, he still got patience when we think we know the right way.
And humility.
Yeah.
He's humble up the
Yeah, he said
because,
he
like,
just
you know,
smack us up.
I created you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could just, the way I brought you into existence, I could take you out
Right.
if I wanted to do so. But oft returning to mercy.
Mercy.
Oft returning to mercy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I keep thinking about the council, and as our children are adults, how the role adjusts and changes, right? And so again, hopefully they seek us out for counsel, just like they seek counsel throughout, right? And so it all starts at home and our immediate family, right? Then it extends into the village and into the broader community. And so we all want to be on that same page, but again, even amongst ourselves, right? I know what Corey gonna say. We agree on that. Let me hit James up, because I know he coming from a different angle. You know what I mean? Because I know we probably gonna disagree. Me and Joaquin did it last week. Let's call Chill. Because I know Chill gonna see an angle that we didn't see. You know what I mean? Something is just too easy. Something's missing, right? And what's missing amongst us, I can't speak for all of y'all, is dealing with 75-year-old black men. Because we need that in our lives, you know, and we don't have it. And we have to, I know I have to actively seek it out, you know.
We don't have the elders.
Yeah, we don't.
in our life.
We don't. I
Yeah.
have to actively seek it out. And then what happens is, I love my great uncle, and then we have an excellent relationship. It's not that we had a bad relationship. People got their own lives and their own families. But I know I have to actively seek it out, you know. And we have those blind spots within our own selves.
And you know, we piecemeal that together
Right.
through all of the people we follow.
Yeah.
Right.
We piecemeal mentorship. You know what I'm saying? But none of them reels give you the experience of sitting with an 80-year-old black man in a room and talking about life.
Sitting and talking. And
None of
listening.
them reels can do that. And that is what we miss.
And we know at this point we wise enough to know there's some nuggets in there, even if the rest of the world can't see that. You know what I mean? And we wise enough to mind that. I'm using a gold analogy, to be patient and listen. And as 50-plus-year-old men, I know there's times when I'm like, man, I can't believe my aunt, my mama, somebody been telling me this for years. It may be a simple saying, and now it's just coming to fruition. You know?
Right.
Oh man, they've been saying this for years now. I know exactly what I mean. So we're learning still as well, right? So we still that child too. We still got to put ourselves in that position as well, just like we put ourselves in the position of authority, right? Or moral authority, or authority just by way of their parent as well. We got to acknowledge that. So again, wanting that, and then going back to what I always say, differences is not deficiencies, right? So our children, right? Just think about it. We're each other's counsel, right? As men. So if all your boys thought just like you or me, you can't even counsel one another because you don't even have a different perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you know the love and trust is there, you know, but Amir got a different perspective than you.
Absolutely.
So he's bringing something different to the table.
Yeah.
And so therefore, the differences is not deficiencies. We may not always agree, but okay, you're coming from an angle that I have a blind spot with, right? And you have to know that you might have one that has a blind spot as well.
Man.
But when we trust and love one another, and this is not competitive, because we're going to win together. You know what I mean? And not get these battles caught up in losing. I hate to use the word battle and war, right? But we in this together. And the one thing I'm going to end it with is I always tell my kids, my thing is like, I got the ounce of prevention. I don't have the pound of cure, right? Because I'd be like, yo, I see what's about to happen. Please take this ounce of prevention. Because this is going to cause some long-term difficulties, right?
It's gonna cost some pounds of cure.
Yeah, that I don't have. And I'm trying to, get you to avoid that certain thing. Again, you're going to go through some pain. You're going to fall down. That's life, right? So let's just avoid the things that we can
Man,
avoid.
it's so tricky because what we're trying to figure out is the balance, the line.
Yes.
Because just as we all have heard me say, I told my kids, you got to know when not to listen to me. So that may be a moment when he's choosing not to listen. And I'm like, no, that's the wrong moment.
That's not the moment I was talking about.
Not this moment. Not this
Only one
moment.
key, right?
You know what I mean?
I know I said that.
I know I said that. Right. I know I said that.
See, that's why I don't tell them that.
Not right now. You know what I mean?
I
And
think-
so yeah, like but they gotta find that balance for themselves. You know what I mean? It's just like if I'm playing a game, like if I'm playing basketball, right? And when I play basketball, and my son does this, and we were talking about this. I'm a defensive player, so early in the game, I'm gonna give you a hard foul. All right, I'm gonna see if the ref let me do that, and if he don't blow the whistle, the next foul gonna be harder. And if he don't let me do that, the next foul gonna be hard.
Touching
when
his temperature.
When he blow the whistle, he just told me where the line at. Now I know how to play you all day.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Now I know how we get. If I hit you the first time and he blow the whistle, now I know I can't even touch this joker all night.
Yeah,
know what I mean?
right.
So I
Then
gotta
you-
find a line, and so our sons are doing that with us as well. They looking for the line. You know, they looking for the line, and so
so
sometimes
good.
when he like out there, I'm like, no, that ain't the line. You know, move. You know what I mean? And so that's what we trying to figure out, and that's what they got to figure out. But sometimes, you know, it's a time. Time is of the essence because that's all we got.
And that's what I was gonna
Right,
say, man,
right.
because a lot of the, like to John's point, that we're lifelong learners is like, man, a lot of this shit just came clear to me, man. Not to say
right.
I gotta give it to you. I just got it.
Yeah.
I'm just now seeing the picture after these years. So I gotta give it to you now. But this is the thing I gotta remember, man. Even when I think about Amir, I'm thinking about his age, right? And so then I think about these conversations over the years and how old I was, how old they are, and what I was thinking at that age, as opposed to what I know now. I know a lot of stuff now that I can say to him in 2 seconds. You know what's going to happen if you do that?
Yeah.
It's going to be this.
Yeah.
When I was his age, I didn't know that. I did
Yeah.
the other thing. I know.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And I got another sporting analogy. Okay.
That's yeah. All right. Tell you.
No, get this out. Get this
Yeah,
out.
because that's why we get so frustrated, because we like, I wanted somebody to tell me this. I'm telling you, and you ain't listening.
Yeah. Nobody tell me nothing.
Ain't nobody tell me none of this.
Yeah.
And now I'm giving it to you, and you ain't, and you act like, oh, this is invaluable. I don't need that stuff you talking. That's old stuff.
I got my own opinion.
Right.
Well, then we just gonna agree to disagree. Now, that's the place I want to get to. Now, I love you. You don't understand this, but we don't have forever. I don't want to leave Earth not knowing that you don't embrace this wonderful truth I've learned about life.
Absolutely.
And that's why it hurts. You see what I'm saying?
okay.
It ain't I want to. That's
So listen, no, I'm here. I'm
Like-
agreeing everything you want. Now we just got to change it to I don't want to leave this earth without me sharing this truth with you. Whatever you do with it, I can't control that.
Yeah, that's
what we
it.
got- we
That's
gotta
it.
get
The control.
I can't control how
and
you
let
do
me
it.
add-
The outcome. We can't be worried about
Yeah.
the outcome.
Let me add this though. I'm sorry, John, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's so many lessons when loved ones leave us that speaks from that grave site.
Right.
You know, because we always talking about a message that Uncle Tommy gave us. You know.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And now we heard it at the time, but we getting the full value at this age now.
It didn't matter. It didn't sink in.
It's same thing, you know. Junbi, you know, the message he gave us.
And you can quote it.
Yeah.
But you still ain't own it.
Yeah, and so from the grave site, those messages come so powerful, and those are reminders, and you can remember who shared this moment with you.
Hey man, I'm gonna give a quick, easy, again, another sports analogy, weightlifting, right? If you playing ball and you a freshman, you might not could bench 100 pounds, right? You keep working at it, you get 150. Your school might give you a 200-pound shirt, and you get 250. You know what I mean? And you keep
I ain't getting
increase-
none of them shirts now.
You was getting the dancing trophies, that's all.
So you want to know that pyramid program?
Yeah. Pyramid program work, right? So what we see in our sons, we all see that they are the best of us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if I do it, I know you can do it and more, right? So I know you can get the 250, 300 pound, 1,000 pound club, whatever. Because I did it, and I know you can do it and greater. But we don't realize is it took us 3 years or 4 years, using the weightlifting analogy, to get to a certain level.
Yeah.
And so I can't put this weight on you and get upset when it's on your chest like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know what I mean? So therefore, we got to sometimes.
And you talking about the weight of an idea.
Exactly. And just like, yeah, I can do it, you can do it. Well, I know you can do it, but we got to build up to that sometimes. And sometimes it takes time. And sometimes, like you say, when you deliver that message, we may not even be here, like Uncle T. But they get it. Oh man, he don't know nothing. He ain't got no money. He ain't got this and that. People are very dismissive of that because of your socio-economic position. You know what I mean? But you know, some of the wisest amongst us, you know.
But that's why we doing this.
Yeah.
Because we're attempting to be that for others.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And we 50.
But we still acknowledge
Right,
that
you know what I mean?
we still need to be continually fed out as well. And we need to be conscious of feeding ourselves.
Right.
Exactly.
And there's always a simple wisdom, man. And you know, they say the wisest people do speak. It's few words. As you age, even when I look at the brother minister that used to travel and speak all over the world, he just come out. I come out when something grow on me to say to him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when they come out, them few words is months of observation and pounds of learning in it. You know what I'm saying?
No empty vitamins at all. Right?
Like the pregnant, you know, it's like a pregnant deposit they make.
Yeah.
People of wisdom. And so as we age, maybe us becoming men of more observation and fewer words in terms of in those spaces with people learning. You know what I'm saying? Because really when I think about teaching, and now I'm back in the education side of it, because essentially that's what we're trying to do, is teach. And all learning, the best of it, must be individualized and differentiated to the learner. And when it is, I ain't expecting a blanket outcome every time I spit wisdom to my children. It might land differently. You know what I'm saying? And I just got to wait to see how it landed. Okay, what's the next scaffold I can put to get to this learning objective? Because we got here. I see that. You see what I'm saying? I'm sitting here thinking about myself or how much I could have employed my practice.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
With that. And it's a revelation, man. So, yeah. It's the B2M crew chopping it up about conflict resolution and agreeing to disagree with our sons and evolving as fathers and understanding how do we navigate those delicate spaces when we care so much and want to teach and we don't feel it's being received, or we see pain or fear for the ones we love. How do we check ourselves, love them through it, and remember that the patience God gave us, we got to extend to each other. We're going to reclaim this village. Why can't you guys something to take us out with?
In the words of the great Frederick Douglass, it is easier to raise strong children than to repair broken men.
Facts.
Peace.